Today is our last day in Bali. Can you believe it? We have been here for so long. I'm feeling really sad and sentimental, but also at the same time, I'm kind of ready to move on. Up early at 6 a.m. to pack because we're procrastinators and didn't do it the night before because that's just who we are as people. Anyway, though, we got dropped off pretty early, like an hour before we even allowed to check in. And then we ended up buying another backpack because we brought too much stuff. I brought too much stuff. I'll admit it. We got some Hard Rock Cafe and then we were on our flight. And then here we are landing in Vietnam. I've been so excited for Vietnam. I'm really, really happy with going here. Oh my God, sorry. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, so after our flight, we had to get on this bus, but it was so packed and we're like, to ask him if we could get on the next bus. And they're like, no, this is the last one. You're going to have to squeeze on. So we did, but it was very tight. And then our driver from a hotel picked us up. And then here we are in Hanoi. I'm so excited. I've been waiting to come here for so long. It really is such a beautiful city. We got to our hotel and it is gorgeous. It's such a good location. It's right in the heart of the old quarter and it's so close to everything. So once we got to our hotel, they gave us a welcome drink. And then this is our room. It's going to be our home for the next few days. I really love that it has a nice walk-in shower and bathroom. I know we're going to be spending a lot of time in there. Just kidding. Our bed is a little bit small. We've gotten really used to the really big king beds in Bali, but we will make it work. It's just because Jackson's so tall. I mean, he's 6'4". I'm like 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. And then we also have a balcony, but I'm taking an impossibly long time to get it open. All right, there we go. Finally got it open. Here is our view from the balcony. Again, we're just so close to everything, so we're just going to be doing a lot of walking around and exploring. And then, as I mentioned in my last Bali vlog, my nails got absolutely fried. So the last nail tech, she filed them down so low that I was actually in pain. And you see how they're breaking? Like, my nails were so long and healthy before that. So thankfully, my husband surprised me. He messaged a bunch of nail salons and found one that was able to get me in that night, and they rescued my nails. We put on fake press-ons, which was so nice, and I loved how they look, and my nails are no longer in pain. Anyway, the next morning we had breakfast at our hotel. We had a nice beautiful continental breakfast, and then we literally walked like 2 stores down and just both of us got haircuts. And then we walked to a tailor and we did a little bit of shopping on the way. And I went to Madame Ha because she does a bunch of different materials that she makes with the clothes. So she starts off with measuring me and everything. And I'm so excited. I've been wanting to get this done for so long. I've seen this all done on TikTok. So she's going to be making me some really cool pieces. Can't wait to see how they turn out. I just looked on Pinterest and found some designs that I wanted made. You can also just buy things that are already made in the store. And then we went to this temple that was recommended to us by our receptionist at our hotel. So thank you, Giselle. Shout out to you. It's in the middle of the water. And also, while we were walking over here, some of the sellers were really aggressive towards us. Like this one lady, she put a hat on my head after I kept telling her, no, I don't want to buy a hat. And then she puts it on my head and I had to like give it back to her. And I'm like, please stop. Like I have too much social anxiety for this. We then got this beautiful calligraphy made. He painted it on and it was so cool. So we got this as a little Christmas present for one of our friends. The rest of this day was just a lot of walking around and exploring. So I am just gonna shut up and let you guys just watch us walk around and explore. We went to the Opera House, which was unfortunately closed today, but this was one of the 3 opera houses or something that the French built, and I knew it looked familiar to Palais Garnier, which is really cool. And then we also went to McDonald's because we didn't get anything. We just got ice cream, or Jackson got ice cream. I don't like ice cream, but it's always really interesting to see what other countries have on their McDonald's. But then after that, we walked to the Women's Museum, and this was such a beautiful tribute to all of the Vietnamese women. They showed a lot of the traditions for their weddings and their family life. And then they talked about women during the Vietnamese War. And then they also had women's fashion. And then the top floor was closed. It was the contemporary art. After that, we just got a little street food snack, and then we saw the water puppet show, so we had to wait a little bit because of our tickets, but I'm just gonna shut up and let you guys watch it. This was such a cool little piece of Vietnamese culture and tradition. I have always wanted to try this. It's literally just fruit on a stick, and then it's like glazed over with sugar, and I always thought it looked so good, and I've never been able to try it because I don't know where you can get this in America or Australia. And it was worth the wait. It was so good. We were Googling it, trying to figure out what it was, because I wasn't sure if it was actually just fruit on a stick, because I had only ever seen it from a distance. But anyway, after that, we went back quickly to our hotel, and then our receptionist guy, he recommended this restaurant to us, and it was so good. But we felt really dumb because we were not sure what we were supposed to do. We were like watching everybody else. We're like, are we supposed to cook it ourselves? Are they supposed to cook it for us? Because our waiters were super busy, so we weren't getting a lot of attention. We were just so stupidly like staring at our meal, and then the guy comes over and actually like gives me my food and like piles it up for me. And you're supposed to crush your peanuts and then put them in your dish, but Jackson ate all of his peanuts because he thought they were just like a little snack before the meal. So the table next to us was laughing at us, and we were just so dumb. We were the only white people there, so they probably just thought we were so stupid. Anyways, we had a good laugh at ourselves. It is what it is. The food though was so delicious. This restaurant actually has a Michelin star. And then I needed to get tampons, and it was so hard to find what I needed because I couldn't understand Vietnamese. Today, we decided to do the hop-on, hop-off bus, which honestly, if you are coming to Hanoi, Vietnam, I really recommend this. Sometimes the hop-on, hop-off buses aren't really worth it, but I found that this one definitely was. And if you are staying in Hanoi, definitely stay in the old quarter because it was so easy, it was so convenient. Like everything is really, really close in walking distance. And then if you have the hop-on, hop-off bus, everything is just super manageable. Honestly, outside of the old quarter and all the stuff outside of where the hop-on, hop-off bus, like I feel like everything is within either the old quarter, the walking distance. At least like I felt that was worth seeing, especially if you're on a time crunch. And then with the hop-on, hop-off bus, like it goes to all of kind of like the highlighted points. It runs Monday to Friday, and then they also give you a little hat and earphones that connect to the little speakers, and then it tells you about everywhere you're going, a little bit of history about each point. A few of the stops include Frog Flower Garden, Hanoi Post Office, Hanoi Cathedral, which as you saw in a previous video, that is modeled after Notre Dame because it was built by the French in the 1800s. There's the Military History Museum, which also, interestingly enough, they also really love and respect John McCain and have a memorial for him. And then at the Hoa Lu prison, they also include some of his memorabilia and artifacts that he had when he was a prisoner of war during the Vietnamese War. We spent the most time at the Imperial Citadel, which definitely bring good shoes, and I have a lot of time mapped out for this because it is huge and there's a lot to see and a lot to get through. I'm just also going to include a little snippet of the map and everything, so that shows you everything that we saw and did. We pretty much did everything on this map. If you're a girl, make sure that your shoulders are covered. I would say wear a long dress, but I wore a short dress and I was fine. But just make sure you're wearing either a dress with sleeves or you have a scarf to kind of tie around you just in case, because some places they wouldn't let me in. And then this one lady kept trying to sell us a scarf and we were like, no, we don't want to buy a scarf, like we're just not going to do it. But anyway, we ended up buying like a little scarf thing, and then we got up to the little temple and we couldn't get in anyway because Jackson was wearing shorts and men need to wear long pants to get in. So if you're a girl, make sure your shoulders are covered. Make sure you're wearing appropriate clothes. And if you're a guy, just make sure that you're wearing long pants, like linen pants or something. That is not everywhere has a little bit of a dress requirement, but a lot of places did. So just keep that in mind. Also, on this day, I wish I had a video of it, but it was pretty gross, so I didn't take a video of it. But there was really hard to find public bathrooms, and there was one place we stopped at this temple, and there was westernized toilet. There was only like the Papa Squat toilet, and it was so filthy. And I walked in, I saw that toilet that's like on the ground. I was like, you know what? I'm good. So I immediately walk out and left. Sorry, but I do not have knees for that. So we did a few other stops, of course. Like I said, we pretty much had everything on this map. We actually had the hop off bus for about 2 days. We did the 2-day pass, which I think worked really, really well. But honestly, the Citadel was just incredible. Like, there is so much history, and we spent like a good few hours there, and I still feel like we were missing things, and we still could have done more there just because it was so fascinating. I mean, it is 1,000 years old. That Citadel was built 1,000 years ago in the 11th century by, I believe it's called the Li Dynasty. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but you know, that's over 1,000 years of history, and it's just incredible. And archaeologists, they're still like finding new discoveries, and we got to see some of the archaeological site. You'll see a video of it later in this video, but it's just incredible. I think there was a festival going on, or they were preparing for a festival this night, because yeah, there was like a sound system and stuff, and a lot of workers were setting things up, as you can see in this video. Like, you know, things are getting brought in, so I'm not really sure what that festival was. Here I am walking in it, probably getting in the way of the workers, but it's fine. As I said, the Citadel was built in the 11th century, but interestingly enough, sorry, I cannot speak, it was built over the ruins of a Chinese fortress, and I'm sorry, I might be butchering this word, but this is from the 7th century, and it's the De La. So for nearly 800 years, this was a political and cultural hub for Vietnam at the Citadel, which is just so crazy. Archaeologists are still finding so many new structures underneath the ground, different ceramics, and just pieces of everyday life from when it was first constructed. At this site is also the Hanoi Flag Tower, which is one of the things that survived the French colonization, because they destroyed a lot of things, which is very rude. And then here's Jackson, his 6'4" self, struggling to get around on all these doorways and everything. Like, he's just too big for it. And I don't know what it is in Vietnam, but they love their very steep steps. So definitely wear comfy shoes if you're going to come here, because the steps are crazy. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the French colonization. So a lot of things were destroyed because of them, which is just so devastating. There are a few structures and gates that remain, but yeah, a lot of it was destroyed, such as the Grand Palace. Like, I just cannot imagine coming in and just destroying so much history. That's just, it's so devastating. Luckily, there is still, you know, some things that remain, but even still, wow. Here you can kind of see the history of it all and what it used to look like. The whole layout is inspired by feng shui, the Chinese principles of feng shui, and you're going to see a lot of Chinese art and different things that are very Chinese, I guess. The Citadel's founding ties back to the emperor, and I'm sorry again, I'm probably not saying this name correctly, Li Tai To. He moved the capital to Tang Long, which is now modern-day Hanoi, which he did because he saw a golden dragon flying in the sky, which symbolizes peace and prosperity. Also, as you can see, Jackson again not fitting in any of these doorways, but this is an underground bunker that they used during the Vietnamese War. This is where Ho Chi Minh and a lot of his other cabinet or whatever, they made a lot of really important decisions during the Vietnamese War. And then here in this video, this shows you what this plate used to look like and then what it looks like now by using the little light and everything. You can see how it used to look like, which is so stunning and so beautiful. This archaeological site is just across the street from the Citadel, and this was discovered in 2002 on accident. They were starting construction for the new assembly building, and then they just happened to come across all of this ancient structure from over a millennium ago. So they stopped construction for the new building and then began excavating all of this. They found relics from the 7th and 9th century from when Chinese occupied this area, and then all the way up to the new emperor from the 11th century to later dynasties as well. After the Citadel, we went over to the first and oldest university in Vietnam. This is the Temple of Literature, founded in 1070 by Emperor Li Tang Tao. It was originally built to honor Confucianism and Confucius. It's of course no longer in use as a university. However, it is a good luck for students who are in university to come here for good luck for their exams. And also while we were here, they were doing like a showcase or something with students now. I'm not really sure what was going on, but it was some kind of ceremony. After we did the university, the hop-on hop-off bus only took us so far because there was a big festival going on in the old quarter, so we couldn't get to our other spot. So it's not a tuk-tuk, but it's kind of like a tuk-tuk because you have this little cart and there's a biker in front, and then he took us back to our hotel. And then we ended up going for a little wander, and we stumbled upon the night market, which is incredible. I definitely recommend going here. Out of all the places we visited, this had the best shopping. It was the most affordable, and the food is so incredible. Oh my gosh, I just love Vietnam. Like, I would move back here in a heartbeat, but seriously, look at all of this clothes. Like, they have Nike and Lululemon and Adidas, and I really wish that I had brought an empty suitcase. I am kicking myself still for this because there were so many beautiful pieces. I got so many cool jewelry that I'm still wearing now, and I've worn it in the pools, I've worn it in the ocean, like chlorine, salt water, and it still hasn't tarnished, and I paid like a couple bucks Australian for it. This is also where I got a lot of purses for my sisters and for myself. I got a wallet for my mom, and like the girls, I kept coming back and visiting them every single day, and they gave me good deals. The next day, we got on a hop-off bus again and saw somebody taking pictures at the Opera House, which is made after Palais Garnier by the French when they were colonizing. And then we went to the train market, which was so much fun. We did see a train come through, and everything is just so bright, so beautiful. The food here, incredible, amazing. I could just eat Vietnamese food for the rest of my life and just be so set. Like, it was so good. After the train market, we then went and visited the Hoa Lu prison, and I recommend getting the audio as well because it's really, really informative, and it's also very affordable. This prison has an absolutely devastating history. It was built in 1896 by the French. The French built this to imprison Vietnamese revolutionaries, and Hoa Lu means fiery furnace or stove because this area used to be a ceramic building. This prison is meant to hold 500 people, but they had up to 2,000 people imprisoned here. It was way overcrowded. There was harsh treatment, torture, malnutrition. It was just absolutely horrific. The prison was later used to hold American POWs during the Vietnamese War, including John McCain. They famously nicknamed it the Hanoi Hilton. Today is one of our tour days. We're starting off to going to see the ancient capital, and then we're gonna do Ninh Binh and do some of the caves and waterways. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna be straight with y'all. This was a very very crazy day. I ended up getting my period, and if you know me, I have endometriosis, so it was a very aggressive period. I ended up getting stuck in a bathroom, had a bit of a gory scene, you know, as you know women do sometimes, but our tour guide was really helpful, and he was able to help me. He was able to help my husband go and get some much needed supplies because what I packed was not enough. So I had to change my clothes, but anyway, off to a rough start. Long story short, we made it to the ancient capital, which is so beautiful. It's surrounded by all of these mountains. Hoa Lu was the original capital of Vietnam, and it was the capital for 40 years, from 968 all the way to 1009, which is during the Dinh and early Lý dynasties. This is such a beautiful capital. There's so many interesting things to see in different temples. Buddhism is also quite significant here.
So when you entering the entire of the Ninh temple,
if you're coming doing this tour, make sure you're wearing comfy shoes and comfy clothes. And also, I had to put on a wrap skirt because the skirt that I had to change into was not allowed inside the temple. So just make sure, I mean, they have stuff to cover up if you need it, but just make sure that you're wearing clothes so you don't have to wear, you know, something that they provide. Anyway, we ended up doing this 50-meter walk up. And it's a beautiful view, but would I do it again? I don't know, because the steps were so uneven, they were so steep. It was a lot, and really the only thing to see was, I mean, this view was beautiful, don't get me wrong, but then it was just a Buddhist memorial sort of thing. I forget what it's called. Then after exploring the ancient capital, we then went to our next stop. This is also where we're gonna have lunch for the day, and we got to bike around. This is probably one of my favorite parts of Vietnam, just because it was so fun just to go biking around the area, just see the goats and this beautiful mountain area. Also really good. I was a bit nervous because it was a buffet, and I've gotten sick so many times in Bali that I was like, great, I'm gonna get food poisoning again, but I was fine. It was really good, super yum. As part of our tour, we actually had a choice between two different caves that we could go explore on these little boats. I forget which one we booked. We ended up booking one of them, and then our tour guide was like, oh, well, the other one's better, so then we ended up switching it. Cannot remember their names, but either way, they are so beautiful and it's so fun. You have a little person, you get in this person's boat, and then they like paddle for you. They do have paddles, and sometimes we would paddle just for the funsies of it, but they're pretty skilled, so we were like not really helping at all. I guess here's Jackson, he's, you know, paddling, but I don't think we were doing actually anything. Anyway, though, this was so fun. We saw some really cool temples. We got to go into the cave, which is also just so stunning. Like, it was just amazing. It was so incredible, so much fun. I said the Vietnamese love their steps? Well, here you go. Here is a perfect example. It's a beautiful view, but this is Ninh Binh, and it was, how many steps? I think it was like 500 steps of uneven steps that were very, very steep and big. View, 100% worth it. I actually thought this view was easier than the last one we did at the ancient capital, just because it wasn't quite as steep, I guess. But yeah, definitely worth it. This whole tour day, like, it was very affordable for 2 people. I forget exactly how much we paid for. I'm trying to look at it in TripAdvisor now, but it's no longer a tour option. It's temporarily closed for whatever reason. But I think we paid about $100 Australian, if I remember correctly, maybe $150 Australian, which for everything you get to do with food included, all the stops, are so worth it. You also get to see the dragons up at the top as well, and that's what I'm climbing up to get to right now. There's a lot of people also trying to climb up, so it was a bit chaotic. Wear good shoes. My Tevas, absolutely love my Tevas. They saved my life. I could have fallen so many times, but my Tevas had me locked in. Okay, great shoes. Get them for your next trip if you're going to be doing lots of walking, hiking, whatever. My feet didn't feel great just because it was a lot of walking, but they were never hurting because of my shoes. Anyway, we climbed up to see this little dragon part. Was that worth it? I don't know. I feel like the view was still kind of the same. It was a bit sketchy, but I liked to climb. It was kind of fun. Afterwards, we went and got a drink, and we were standing talking to these people, and the guy like just fell through the floorboard, which is a bit crazy. Luckily, I had some band-aids and stuff on me. And then there's usually flowers in that water, but not today. We are leaving Hanoi today, and I'm so sad. I mean, I'm excited for what's to come, but I love Hanoi. Vietnam is so beautiful. I would live here in a heartbeat, but we're going to be doing a Halong Bay cruise, which are really, really popular when you come to Hanoi. And also, I'm wearing my new skirt that I had tailored made for me. So we got picked up. Our tour guide lady actually waited with us until we got picked up because we were a bit worried about giving cash to someone we didn't know. But she actually waited for us until our tour guide came and picked us up, which was really kind. They also do a halfway stop before you get to the boat. I recommend picking up some snacks and drinks because once you're on the boat, the only way you're going to be able to get any snacks or drinks is if this lady comes on a little smaller boat up to your door and like sells it to you. So it's a bit different. So I would just recommend buying snacks and drinks that you think you're going to want before you get there. Also, as you can see, there is still some damage from the typhoon in this area, which is really sad because it's such a beautiful area, but they're still recovering from Typhoon Yugi. Or when this video was taken a couple months ago, they were still recovering because I am recording this late. Sorry about that. Anyway, after our tour bus dropped us off, we then go and sign in. We just had to wait a little bit, and then we had a private shuttle boat, whatever, that took us to a different area. A lot of the other boats, you either got directly onto your boat, but ours was further out. And I don't know why, I can't remember exactly why, but they only allow certain boats past this one part where we got to go, so it wasn't as busy. There weren't as many boats by us. But yeah, so we got out to our cruise, which was the Dora cruise. We love this cruise. We really, really recommend it. Staff were incredible. They were all so amazing. They had great itinerary. The rooms were very clean and very nice. We weren't able to get into our rooms right away, but we were able to come and have lunch, and we were seated right by the window, which was really nice. Usually they have a buffet, but today they had a plated meal, and it was so beautiful. And I mean, just like look at this view. I seriously did not want to leave this boat. I mean, they had a lot of itinerary stuff planned, but I was just so happy and so content just to stay on this boat. Same with Jackson. Like, we just wanted to hang out here because the view was amazing. Anyway, here is our lunch menu for the day. It was so good. We ate everything up. It was so fun to try different things. After lunch, they gave us a little rundown of what to expect, what's going to be happening, and then we were able to check into our room. One thing that I did actually kind of like, this isn't normal, but because of the typhoon, one of the Wi-Fi towers, whatever, was down, so we didn't really have good phone service while we were here, but I actually ended up really appreciating that because it was good for us to just kind of get off our phones and to just enjoy each other's company and just enjoy the peaceful views and the vibes. And yeah, but anyway, this is our room. It was so beautiful. I'm really glad. I think this was a little bit of an upgraded room, which I'm really glad we ended up doing because we had a great bathroom. We had a beautiful porch. Definitely get a room that has a balcony because We just spent so much time just sitting out here. Oh yeah, there's the lady with the boat, as I was telling you about. That's like the only way you're going to be able to get food and drinks. They do still have some stuff in the mini bar, and I know they sell some stuff. It's a little bit more expensive. I don't know what that lady's prices were on the boat, and probably is a little bit more expensive than that store, because obviously, like, you know, she's coming up to you on a boat. Like, it's a very personal, whatever, experience. Yeah, we didn't end up buying anything from her, but I think that's really, really cool that they had that. Yeah, so then we just got to float around on the boat for a little bit. We ended up going down. After taking a short little cat nap, we went down and we just like swam for a little bit. Jackson and I were the only people who swam. No one else wanted to swim, but we're like, whatever, that's fine. We're gonna swim. The water was like bath water. It was so warm. It felt so good. We even got into a kayak, and this is where Jackson and I learned that I am never gonna be in the back of the kayak again, because he was getting so mad at me because I kept turning around in circles, but I was trying my best here. But seriously, look at these views. This is just such a beautiful place. Like, oh my gosh, just thinking about it and just looking at it again, incredible. I have never seen anything like this. This is definitely going to be inspiration for my book, because stunning, so beautiful. The water's beautiful. The water's warm and gorgeous, and the view, like, it's just amazing. Explored for a bit. They had this really beautiful balcony area with all the lounge chairs, egg chairs. They even had a jacuzzi hot tub. We didn't spend too much time here. We just kind of like the privacy of our room. Again, like, you know, if you're paying for that balcony and, like, you know, this is just time for us to be by ourselves, like, we were gonna take that, eat that up, you know? Okay, we're on our long day cruise. Night one, dinner number one. I'm wearing this dress from Shein. My earrings are from the Market. Hair clips from TJ Maxx. Got in America. Teva's.
Yep.
You're wearing Tarot Cash that I bought for you. Kmart shorts that I bought for you. Sandals that your mom bought you.
Yeah, that's it.
Now
Deuces.
off to dinner. They then had a cooking class, and we got to make our own egg rolls, which was really fun. I was really bad at rolling them, but tasted really good. It was so fun to do. We then had a really nice dinner, a buffet dinner, which was super yum. We went downstairs. Actually, first up, we went up and just like chilled upstairs before we had squid fishing just to relax and stuff. And then we went downstairs and we did squid fishing. So they say you're supposed to bob your rod, and that motion is like what attracts squids. We didn't catch anything, but there was a squid in this bucket, and then someone else ended up, oh yep, there he is. There's a squid, you can see him. I felt so bad, the poor little guy. He's gonna be eaten later, but and you can see this person actually caught the squid, and this is when I was like, okay, I think I'm done, because the poor little guy, I saw him bleeding, and I was like, great, he's gonna be eaten. So I felt really bad. But yeah, then the next morning they do have like yoga classes early in the morning, but I was like, I'm gonna sleep in and read. We had breakfast. We were really late to breakfast, and it was so sweet because there's like one waitress who kind of like stuck with us. She did a few other tables, and we were like kind of her main guest, I think, and she grabbed us food for us because we were like the last people at breakfast, and she didn't think we were gonna make it, so she got us food, which was really nice. And then we had an excursion today, so we got onto this other boat that's going to transport us, and then we were the first people on it from our cruise, and then we went and picked up people from other cruises, which was really fun. So we just got to relax a little bit. You see a lot of these like floating houses and like little floating villages, which is just so fascinating. But then we got to our first little island, which used to be a fisherman's village. You can bike this. Jackson was feeling really, really sick, so he didn't want to bike it. And I was like, you know what? Everybody was saying that was really hilly, and I was like, I'm here just to hang out with my husband. I don't really care to bike it. Like, yes, that would have been fun. But I just kind of wanted to chill and enjoy and relax and just be with my husband. So that's what we did. I just took the golf cart with him. We made some really nice friends, a couple other Australians, and then we got to see where King Kong was filmed, which is this little video here. And then as you can see, the tour guide, he had hurt his foot or something, so he couldn't bike, so he had the little scooter, but it was really fun. Like, you could see everybody biking and struggling to bike up some of the hills and everything. We then made it to the little town. It is a very, very small town. This used to be just where fishermen lived, but now it's really just for tourism. They had this fish bath spa thing, which is horrifying because these fish are a lot bigger than the ones in Bali, and I could not do it for very long. I hated it. Like, look at how these fish are swarming. That is so scary and so terrifying. One of our new friends, she was like this older lady, and she was like screaming as it happened. She's like, but she was just like, she put her foot in and she was just letting it happen, even though she's screaming the whole time, which is really funny. But yeah, I did not enjoy this. Jackson didn't even try because he knows he hates it. I could only do it for a few seconds at a time before I would freak out because I hated the feeling. There's not a lot to explore, but we did walk around a little bit, and then our tour guide gave us a presentation, showed us a bunch of different wines made from like snakes and just different creatures, which is very interesting. We did get to try a few of them. Would I do it again? No.
So it's made like a 1, 2, 3, cheer, 2, 3, cheer, 2, 3, drink. Make sense? Yes. Okay, but Vietnamese version is way better. Okay, we do it the Vietnamese way, and I mean loud mouth. Hai ba zo, hai ba zo, hai ba zo. How about that? We preserve those freeze a snack inside the jar of alcohol. It's like, you know, we believe drinking. No. Okay, so you drink for the. Let's drink short. Okay.
Come take a video of the inside.
Hey. The thing about the snack. Okay. Okay. Now, một, hai, ba, zo, hai, ba, zo, hai, ba, whoop.
So yeah, we tried a few different wines. Snake wine, can't recommend it. Can't really say it was my favorite. But then we just went out to this field and just kind of got to watch the water buffalo, which are so stinking cute. Once we got back to the boat, we had some lunch and they brought out just little plates for everybody. Super good. The squid was good. We made some new friends. And of course, our friends, we realized when we're traveling, are never younger than 40 years old, which is fine. We are old souls. We made some really great friends. We went and kayaked around the little islands and stuff with them, which was so great. And this was like very giving me Lord of the Rings vibes. I mean, seriously, does this not look like a scene from the Fellowship of the Ring? Seriously, like, so beautiful. It was so fun. There was a lot of little boat houses too. Unfortunately, there was a lot of trash in the water at this time, and they said it was because of the typhoon. Like, a lot of things just got swept away and into the water, which is not their fault, because the typhoon was really aggressive. But yeah, it was still really, really beautiful. This whole area, gorgeous. There are some of the houseboats there. One of our last stops is we actually got to go swimming and go to the beach and jump off from the top of the boat, which we did quite a few times. This was so much fun. The water was so warm, it was so good. Even I jumped and I was like, oh, this isn't bad, it's not that high. And then once I was actually off the boat and jumping, like already in the air, I was like, oh, actually this is really high. But it was fun. It was so good. We got to see a little bit of the sunset too on our way back, which was so beautiful. We stopped and dropped off all of the other passengers on our boat, on the other boats, and then we came to our boat. Lastly, then we said goodbye to our new friends, but maybe we'll see them in Australia again someday because they're from the East Coast. I just had a cozy little bath when we got back and just watched the view again, which is so beautiful. Jackson and I just snoozed for a bit too when we got back because we were exhausted. It was a really big day, and he is, of course, not feeling good, poor guy. And then after we just napped for a little bit, we ended up going to dinner. We went a little bit later, and then they had a little performance as well, which was really fun and beautiful. Today is our last day here, our last little morning here actually, so we had a really nice little breakfast. There was another excursion going out to some of the nearby caves, but we had just done that other cave tour the other day, and Jackson wasn't feeling good. I could have gone by myself, but honestly I didn't really care to because we had already seen these other caves, and it was just nice to get to sleep in, have breakfast, and just kind of have the ship to ourselves since a lot of people went on this excursion. So we just packed everything up, got our bags out of the room, and then we just walked around on the ship, took some pictures that we had been meaning to take for our Instagram and everything. And then, yeah, just got to enjoy the beautiful views before we said goodbye to everybody and before we had lunch. And then we had our last lunch, which was so good. And this is also where they had the new people come on. They had a new people come in last night and then this morning, which was great because they were going to have a great trip too. And then we got onto our little transportation boat, said goodbye to the crew who were just so incredible, so amazing. One of the guys, he was the manager of this ship. We asked him for recommendations on things to do in Halong City, and he gave us so many recommendations. He had a whole Google Doc that he sent to us, and we ended up doing a few of the things that he recommended, which is really sweet of him to do. But there it is, goodbye to our cruise. We would love to come back again because it was incredible, so much fun. we are now in Halong, and we stayed at the Delichi Hotel, which was a beautiful hotel. The staff were also really incredible. Jackson ends up, like I said, he's sick, still sick. I ended up getting sick this night too, and for whatever reason just started throwing up. Couldn't tell you why, but just my body hates me sometimes, and I've been sick so many times on this trip, so I would expect nothing less. So we ended up just staying in for a few days, so you're not going to see too much stuff happening for the next few days because we really just kind of stayed in the hotel, ordered room service a lot, just kind of walked out to get food, order room service, or go to the pool. Like, that was pretty much it for everything that we did for the next few days. But this view, incredible. Jackson ended up upgrading us to have this giant window in our room because we just wanted to have a good view while we relaxed and just kind of got our bodies back to normal. They also gave us this little fruit plate and dessert plate when we checked in, which was really... So here's some of the few times we actually got out of our room. Right next to our hotel, there was a whole gaming cafe, which was just so cool to see. Jackson loved it. He definitely wants to come back with some of his friends and just game with them, work online, whatever. This is also the breakfast buffet that they had at this hotel. It was huge. There were so many options, so much stuff. And then every single day I had to ask for a box to bring to Jackson because he wasn't feeling good. The lady started to know me by the end of our trip. I was worried she was thinking I was making up a husband, but luckily Jackson didn't come down once or twice, so he could see that he is real, he does exist. I'm not just taking all this food. But also, isn't this just like such beautiful sunsets here? It's so beautiful. This is the pool at our hotel. It was a really nice, not like a rooftop pool because it was on the top floor, but it was close to it, like you could still overlook. So beautiful. You can also see there's a lot of kind of like French design here. Yeah, then we ended up going to this like theme park, which was really interesting and fun. I say theme park loosely because this part, there's like an actual kind of theme park area. This one only had like a few themey park things to do, but you could take that little rail cart over. It's called Sun World, by the way, if I didn't mention that already. So this is Sun World. We got to take that cart across to this little island, and then yeah, the view was just really cool. It was so fun going across in that little cart, whatever I think it's called. Once we got to the other side of this little island area, we went to this wax museum, and this is probably the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my life. I will never do this again, but it was one of the things they had the option of doing here. So they had like Putin, some presidents, the Queen of England. I mean, hated this. Like, this still haunts me. It is so uncanny valley. It's so scary. We were terrified. This part was fun though. We got to do these little like cart things down. It was like direct your own pace, which was really fun. Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to take any videos of us actually going down on the little cart things, but yep. And then we got to go look at some of these other temples, and again, so many steps. We did so much walking, but the view here is so pretty. And at the very end and the very top, there's this temple. So we walked around and got to see a few more really cool things. Once we walked back, we were so hot, so sweaty, but Jackson had some lunch. I just got a drink because I just could not eat at this point because it was way too hot. But we went and did the arcade, and here I am doing so bad at basketball as I usually do. And then here's Jackson, of course, being good at literally everything that he does on the first time he does it, which is so annoying, but he did really well. We just kept playing this one and kept getting a lot more coins. I don't know. It was fun. Whatever. We played some air hockey. And then there was a bunch of tourists there as well, like Chinese tourists that were in town. And so we gave them the rest of our tickets and our coins and everything and let them play. And then we saw this capsule machine and it was capybaras. So of course I had to get one because I'm obsessed with capybaras. So it was so cute. To move out of our room, so we got all packed up. We could have had a later checkup, but we're like, whatever, we're just gonna go leave our stuff at the hotel and just go find some things to do, which we did. So Jackson went and got a haircut. I got my bubble tea, which is so yummy, and then we went to the shopping mall here, which was really fun. There is so many good things, but we don't have any room in our suitcase as usual. We had a nice lunch, and then we saw these massage chairs, and they were like 50 cents Australian, and it was for 10 minutes or something like that. So we ended up doing that for a while because we had so much time to kill. We went and tried to do this arcade, and this was the biggest waste of money. Like, it was like funny how bad it was because most of the games were out of order. Whatever. So then we went to a grocery store because Jackson wants some sparkling water because that's like pretty much all he drinks because he's weird. But I feel like grocery stores are such a fun experience to do. Like, you learn so much about a culture when you go to a grocery store. So here we are exploring that. So many fun finds. We, of course, had to stop and get some Starbucks. Oh, and by the way, I won a capybara out of the vending machine, which was amazing. So we had some Starbucks. It was so good. And, of course, capybara had to have some too, which my niece, she named him Coco. I also just went and bought some skincare, and then we left the mall, went back, and it was a beautiful time at sunset. Like, this whole area, so beautiful. Jackson really loves this area. He would live here in a heartbeat, the Halong City area, and I agree, it is beautiful. Like, it's not a lot of tourists. It's very calm, quiet, peaceful, just absolutely stunning. And like, everything here, the housing, beautiful. Love it. So there you have it. That's pretty much everything that we did in Vietnam. I am doing a really late voice recording. This is a few months after our trip. But just because we've been busy, and that's fine. So we got to the airport, had our last dinner here in Vietnam. I had to, of course, get some pho because it's so good here. But hopefully someday we'll be back because we just loved Vietnam. Like, after all the other countries been to, still Vietnam, incredible. Absolutely love this place. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next time you see us, we're going to be in the Philippines.